I'm Amy, sex educator, somatic sex and relationship coach, and sex shop owner.
And I'm April, VP of an international high-end pleasure products company and boss queen sex toy mogul. We're best friends who make our own rules about who we are as sexual beings.
With everything from how to be a badass in the bedroom to top tips for bringing your relationship to the next level, we have something just for you.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Don't forget to head on over to our website at shamelesssex.com for more. And for 15% off of some of our favorite sex toys, use coupon code SHAMELESSPP in all caps at purepleasureshop.com. Hello, everyone.
Hi, hola, bonjour.
¿Cómo estás?
It's Sunday, fun day.
It's Sunday, and we're already drinking wine at noon.
I know, but that's because it's Sunday, and it's sunny, and it's a beautiful day.
The Lord's Day.
It's the Lord's Day.
The good Lord's Day.
Good Lord.
What wine are we drinking today, Chip?
So we're drinking a Chenin Blanc from Margins Wine, woman-owned, operated. You all should check out, if our listeners out there like wine or don't like wine, check out marginswine.com because sign up for her mailing list, boutique wine. You'll love it. And I love it. I'm a huge fan.
And it's what, underrepresented grapes?
Underrepresented grapes from underrepresented regions and underrepresented varietals.
And
if you don't know what a varietal is, Google it.
What's a varietal?
It's
Does that apply to sex?
Type of the grape.
Like the people I've slept with are varietals.
Yeah.
Like those were my old varietals.
Yeah. What kind of varietal were you into?
Okay, we'll get into that. So today's podcast, everyone, we're talking about quickies.
Ooh, not the
not jackrabbit.
Jackrabbit quickie.
We'll talk about that. We're probably not.
Have you had one of those before where your neck hurts? You're like,
Lord,
you got like a kink in your neck.
Yeah,
like that Sex in the City episode.
It was more like a kink in my pussy.
Oh yeah,
it was a little. Oh God, need an ice pack after that one. Yes, we're gonna talk about quickies, and on our podcast, we often talk about how we love. Slower sex, at least for the initial piece of warming up the body, getting aroused, not diving right into hard and fast. And that's what most people are doing because that's what they're seeing in porn, or maybe they don't have a lot of time, or maybe they like the penises, like being like worked really fast, and because your parents were going to come in when you're masturbating at 7, right?
Yeah,
we'll get into that. I like you said, the penis are being worked really fast.
Well, you know, they're like, chef, go. All right, I'm done.
Hurry up, mom's going to walk
Don't pick up those socks on the floor.
Yeah, so we're going to get into that in a little bit. So quickies, yeah, we'll elaborate a little more on that. Like, how do quickies apply when we do talk about slow and soft? How does that even fit in? Our favorite quickie stories, some that we've experienced, maybe our least favorite quickie stories.
Some that I've heard too.
Oh,
because there's some really interesting ones where I'm like, for real? You did it where?
Yeah.
When?
How did that even work?
Yeah, I was like, damn, I need to take some notes.
So before we do that, I'd love to read a testimonial.
I know.
We have so many wonderful emails that come in.
I do want to a shout out to all of our listeners. Thank you for just all the love, support that we continue to get from you. It means the world to us. Thank you for your sex questions. And again, if you are out there and you're listening and you have a question that you're pondering, email us or go to our website. We're at shamelesssexpodcast@gmail.com, or you can go on our website, shamelesssex.com, and check it out. You can just fill out a questionnaire. But we read every question. We love and read all your reviews. And some of these testimonials, I actually cried a little bit yesterday. And I don't cry.
Yeah, she's not really a crier.
Today I was like, did you read that? Did you read it? And you're like, I read it. It's so beautiful.
It was so beautiful. We're getting at least like 1 to 3 a day that are either sex questions or just thank you so much for helping us. And that's exactly why we do what we do.
And it's from all over the world.
Yes.
I mean, from Australia to we're huge in Senegal.
Yeah. I think we have two listeners.
We have 2 listeners in Senegal. But you know what? We love you, listeners.
Thank you, Senegal.
So continue. Thank you for your support. We love you, each and every one of you. So thank you.
So I'm going to read this testimonial from a fan who would like to remain anonymous. And just so you know, if you do email us, we will keep your information anonymous if you request that. Or even if you don't say that, we'll just give you the first letter of your name. We won't even.
Some people are like, you can read my name. Here's my social security number. And I'm like, probably not. But we love you either way.
We're not going to do that. So testimonial from a fan. 3 years ago, I was in a bad place, grieving the early death of a parent, an ill sibling, lost my family and a home in a flood. My boyfriend was diagnosed with MS, turned to religion, and we broke up. Then I fell into a serious drug addiction with a man who eventually came down with a very serious psychosis where he saw and heard things that weren't there, all involving me, my body, and other men. I was sexually, mentally, physically, and emotionally abused before I realized I wanted to live after a very close call. It's safe to say that I lost my desire for sex, a partner, or even friends. I'm clean and sober for 2 years and have spent most of my free time working through my emotional issues alone and with a therapist. I've never been happier. The one and large issue is still the topic of sex. The thought of it sent me spinning in anxiety and fear. I refuse to let it get in the way of future relationships and myself. Finding your podcast has helped me in ways I never expected. I've rediscovered my body, and although I'm not ready for the next step, I know it will come. Anyway, this is just a big, happy thank you. You're both gentle, genuine, and kind, with just the right amount of humor and sass. Thank you for your honesty and openness. It's given me perspective and a safe place for me to rediscover my sexuality. Oh,
this is the reason why we're doing this.
So beautiful.
Just for things like that. So thank you, listener, for that beautiful.
Your eyes are watering.
I'm going to cry.
I know.
But I can't.
The girl that never cries is going to cry.
I know. It's hard.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
This is so beautiful. And when we started the podcast, the inspiration
less than a year ago. Yes.
The inspiration was shame, and not that we love shame. It's that everyone has shame, and shame is really the main thing that is getting in the way. Shame and trauma of people really tapping into their ultimate sexual selves of whomever they're supposed to be, and it's completely masked by that shame and by trauma, whether it's physical, emotional, and this person experienced so much trauma. Oh my goodness.
And it could be shame in anything, something that maybe, you had trauma as a child, you had trauma as an adult, or you had shame and body shame. There's so much shame that can exist in your life. And both you and I have overcome shame. And that's why we're like, let's share our tools, how we got through and got to a place of empowerment and are living the lives we've imagined.
Well, overcome, and it still comes bames
Oh, gosh,
or maybe
yeah.
and maybe it's not the old shame, but it keeps coming from these new ways. Like the example I often use is so you are sleeping with a new partner, and on the third day you get naked and they look at you and they look at your thighs and say, your thighs look a little bit bigger than they did last time, or just a little comment like that. That can create deeply rooted shame that all of a sudden that person's like,
how you shave your pussy hair. I don't like when people comment on that to me. I'm like, hey,
your bush is a little hairy
yeah,
today.
I'm like, what's up, yo?
Yeah.
Don't comment on that.
And there's no
shame.
There's also no hierarchy of shame, right? Because one person's little tiny shame could be huge for them, whereas another person, if someone were to say that to them or give them that shame, it might not be that shameful. And I also want to talk about the difference between shame and guilt. We've done this before on the podcast. But shame is that I'm bad. There's something intrinsically about me that is not good. And guilt is different. Guilt is more like that thing I did was bad. And if you want to learn more about shame, one of our inspirations is Brene Brown. She's done a lot of amazing work. She has some TED Talks. She's wrote a number of books.
It helped me through my divorce, that book. Men, Women, and Worthiness.
Oh yeah, the audio recording. It's an audio recording of it.
Yeah, I think you can get it physical too.
Yeah, and it's so it talks about that. It talks about how shame, the thing about shame is that it thrives in silence and secrecy, and it dies in empathy. Meaning, when we get shame, we have this desire to just hold it in and keep it for ourselves because it's scary. We don't want people to see our cracks in that way. We don't want them to think that we're weak. Right. And so we just hold it in, and then it just builds. It's like bacteria in a petri dish. It's just like growing and growing. And then when it's shown in empathy, so say I have shame and I say, hey, April, I have some really heavy shame. Can I share this for you? And I just want you to listen, and I just need to be witness in my shame. And I share it with you, and you just listen and witness and still love me in my vulnerability. Or even if I share it with anger or sadness or tears, and you can still hold that space, and I feel safe and accepted. All of a sudden, that shame can be like weight lifted off my shoulders, or like armor coming off of my body, and I'm much more free from it than I was when I just kept it to myself.
And if you're a listener that maybe feels like you don't have your share to shame to share, or you have a partner that maybe is creating a safe space, you're creating a safe space for your partner, it is good to just listen. As you said, it's not like, I know exactly what you're going through.
Let me fix you.
Let me help you. It's like, no, just listen and be there, share space, as you like to say.
And you and I, we're both kind of fixers. So I want to out that this isn't shameful for me, but I want to out that I often have a desire to fix when someone comes to me and says, here's my problem. Like, oh, well, let's try X, Y, and Z. And I don't think that that's always a bad thing, because I know for myself, sometimes I want that from friends or from people that I trust their advice. But if you're not looking for that, it can be helpful to specify, I'm not looking to be fixed. I'm just looking to be heard. Can you hold that space for me? Or if you're receiving the information, vice versa, you can actually suggest that. Are you looking for advice, or do you want me to just hold space? And then people can get the desired outcome that they're looking for.
I'm usually like, hey, what do you think about this?
When someone gives you their stuff, their vulnerability.
Like when I was going through my divorce and I called you, I was like, what do you think I should do? Give me the answer.
Yeah,
I was like, should I stay or should I go? And you're like, Chip.
Yes, it's not
you
that
can
easy.
Do whatever you want. The answer lies within you, but take some time. And I was like, okay. But sometimes, right, you can either kind of ask if you are looking to release the shame or you need advice. I think it's just ask for what you want.
And trauma, physical, emotional, all the trauma, it doesn't matter whether someone touched your body non-consensually, or they gave you a whole bunch of emotional and verbal abuse. They're equally, it depends on the person, how much that will really hurt them and what that will do to them. But when trauma is received, it's a little different than shame, especially when it's physical trauma and that the body remembers, it retains the information. And I guess that can happen with shame too, but...
Like when I got forced to give a blowjob at 15.
When someone's pressing your head down.
And now ever since then, I mean, that's 15. I'm 35 years old. It comes up and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And it's hard. So those kinds of things, but you can tap in. I've shared that experience with partners and they're more gentle. So it's, again, releasing the shame.
Yeah. And the trauma piece too is that when the body receives trauma, it actually retains it and holds it. Some parts of you can either numb out, you can start to disassociate when the experience seems to be revisited, or even if it's not the same experience, something that reminds you of it. And a lot of times people feel like they're broken, whether it's shame or trauma. They feel like there's something wrong with me. I'm broken. I'll never be the same. I lost this part of me. And that's kind of what this person is going through or was going through. And it's so beautiful that just hearing us talk about shame and trauma in the way that, because we say we don't believe anyone's broken at all, that we receive stuff that was never ours that gets in the way, but we're not broken. And yes, we will never be the same as we were before, because that's just how it goes. Every day we're different. Every moment I'm a different person than I was before. Yeah. And so it's important to not be attached to being what we once were, but to know that we have the tools, and with good therapists and coaches and somatic workers and things like that, support systems that we can
books.
Yeah, and books. Oh yeah, and books.
Totally.
Yeah, that we can work with. It's not really work through or like ignore that thing that happened. It's more work with it so that we can move forward. And now that's part of our story that doesn't give us a whole bunch of pain, but it still is a part of us.
And sometimes you'll release shame that you've been holding, and then you'll release it once to someone, and then you feel like you can tell a lot of different people, and then it just becomes almost part of your identity, like in a good way, where it's like, I experienced this, I'm a survivor, or I'm a person that went through this. Like, I had shame in my divorce, and then now I'm like, and having an affair, I thought I was a terrible human. And then I started doing work, and that was when I realized, like, I had shame in what I did. And now I wouldn't change anything, because I am where I am because of the mistakes / things that I've experienced.
Yeah, it's what really makes you so wonderful and colorful and dynamic.
Thanks.
Yeah, and our cracks are a really important part of that story. So
they're like scars.
They are like scars.
Cool.
But when we ignore the scars, try to bury them, run away from them.
Put makeup on them.
It's the resistance. Put makeup on them. Really fancy makeup. It makes it harder for us though, because they want to be embraced. They want us to pull them up, almost like give them a hug and be recognized, so that we can work through them. And go. What is that? The light. You got to go through the darkness to get to the light. The cracks.
Yes,
the cracks
yes.
is where the light gets in. That's where it is.
You can't see the stars without the night.
Beautiful.
Poetic. Should we read a sex question?
Sex question.
We have a sex question here, and
this person's named Jay. We'll say the first letter of their name.
And thank you for Jay for communicating and for reaching out. And this is a really it's brought kind of it moved me. So here we go. Hey, Amy and April. 9 years ago, I was paralyzed in a motorcycle accident. Less than 2 years earlier, I had got out of the Navy and became a cop. My girlfriend at the time stayed with me, and we eventually got married in 2012. We are still married, but we have no relationship, if that makes sense. We're like roommates. Over the last 9 years, we have somehow allowed ourselves to emotionally separate. Not by my choosing. I am the emotionally needy one in the relationship. We just crossed over 3 years of no intimacy. No kissing, touching, sex, cuddling, etc. We have had sex since my injury, although not frequently. It was more of a task she was completing. Oh. Prior to my injury, we had a pretty active sex life, and she had the desire to be with me. Not anymore, even when I try. In 3 years, an abnormal time to go without is 3 years an abnormal time to go without sex other than the self-pleasure she does. Should I be concerned about her stepping out? I'm 38 in a couple of weeks, and she is 47. I have tried to get her to do counseling, but she refuses. I believe she said our marriage are not in the top 10 things to work on. And when I asked her if she has emotionally shut herself off from me, she said yes, but it's not like it happened overnight. I'm stuck. Oh, here we go. I'm stuck. Don't know what to do. I am incredibly lonely, have so much love to give, but she won't receive it. Thank you for your podcast. They're informative. And for me, the best thing is hearing your personality come through. It genuinely brings a smile to my face, makes me laugh, and overall happy. So thanks for being real. Best, Jay.
Oh, Jay. Thank you for that email.
Yeah,
and wow, you have been through a lot. And it's always interesting to me that when people, they go through a lot, but their concern is about their partner.
Right.
This happens all the time. It's, you've gone through this physical trauma and you're not getting a lot of intimacy or closeness, but there's this great concern about your partner. But it comes down to you because there's this fear of losing the love and this great desire to be close and be intimate.
And the needs aren't being met.
And those needs, I think a lot of people, they don't want sex to be a need. When we think of needs, like we need food to survive, we need water, we need sleep,
oxygen,
we need shelter.
Right.
Sex for a lot of people is a need, and maybe not just sex, but intimacy and closeness is a need, and it is a valid need to ask for, to need, to say, if I don't have this, I'm not going to be able to stay in this relationship.
And for me, it's I have like a, what I call the 3-tiered effect with relationships and things that I need. And
I
it's
thought
like,
you were going to talk about your other, the old tiers. This
oh
is the
no,
early
my
podcast,
3-tier.
everyone.
No.
She has this tier system for when you're single and the people you're dating.
I have it in marketing at work, and I have it in my relationship, what I desire from a relationship. And sex is at one of the tiers of the triangle, the prongs of the triangle. What is it? Angle of the triangle.
Sure.
What
Points.
Points of triangle. One of those. So and it's sex, communication, and then obviously getting along with the person and having them feel like a partner.
Yeah, closeness.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and so this is,
it depends on you, Jay.
Yeah. Well, and the questions are specifically, is this normal? Yes, everything is normal, and everything is, there is no normal. It is normal for someone who sex is not important to them. But to me, it's kind of sounding like your partner, Jay, that sex is not important to them.
Right.
They've actually shut it out of their lives and concluded, which I've heard people do many times, is say, sex doesn't need to be a part of my life.
But she's
also emotionally cut off, too.
Well, he said that she's also pleasuring herself.
So then, yes, so there is a drive there. It's
Right.
just a drive that she isn't interested in sharing.
And perhaps, it is a bummer that she doesn't want to work on it, which
God, that's so hard when one person doesn't want to do
and
the
that
work.
can be a make or break situation, unfortunately, because if
You need both partners.
or you can open up with, hi, I'm not getting my needs met. How about we explore an open relationship? How about we explore a different path to go down? Because I need this aspect of the relationship fulfilled. And that's okay to ask for. I think that as a partner, maybe she'll be like, great, I'm into that as well. It's just a matter of communicating that.
Yeah. And I know that it's really scary because it sounds like right now, Jay, you're in a more of a companionate relationship. And some people just do that. They just, I'm not going to say settle, because some people actually want that, but it sounds like you're settling, and maybe she is too, actually. But for something that just works, feels comfortable-ish, although you're pretty uncomfortable, so you're not comfortable. But it's more of we just make this work together and support each other in this, but there isn't a lot of passion or connection. And that's fine if that's what both people want. But if one or both people want more, then that's where some shifts need to happen, some conversations.
It's a partnership. It's a duality. So
you work together.
You have to work together. And
And sometimes working together means finding out ways to work apart.
And it's not about compromise all the time. It's about creating a win-win where you feel good. And we've talked about this on podcast 2, getting what you want in life and in the bedroom, but asking for what you want. So you're creating a win-win. You're not sacrificing because you want your partner to feel good, and you want to feel good as well. And it's all about finding the right balance for you. And I think beginning with asking for what you need and then exploring different routes to get what you need.
Yeah, get clear on what you need. What are you really desiring? Are you desiring to be partnered? Are you desiring to be partnered with someone where you have sex once a week?
Make a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, that's what
with
April would do.
I'd be like, this is what I need.
Exhibit A.
Exhibit A.
We only have sex once a week. Exhibit B, I want 3 times a week. And that's great. It's great to show up, and because when we show up and try to have these conversations when we're not clear about what we want, then it's a big old mess. But if we take time, okay, this is where I'm at. I'm going to meditate on this, breathe into this, get out your crystals and your hippie shit. I don't know, whatever you want. But no, take the time to really settle in and feel into it. Where are you at? What are you desiring? What are you not getting? And what do you need? Propose that to your partner. Here's where I'm at. And then this is the other piece I think is important is this is what I want. And this is how far I'm willing to stretch, right? So I want sex 3 times a week, but I'm willing to go to only 1 time a week, and that's fine. But 0, not I can't do that.
And it doesn't have to be penetrative sex. You're looking
what is sex
probably a lot of times you're looking for a connection, a deep connection with your partner. That's why I crave and desire sex because I'm looking for that.
It's just a penis in the vagina.
No,
yeah.
I'm like, if that was the case, I'd get out my wand and just.
Do you put that inside of you?
No, it wouldn't fit.
It's pretty big.
Outside only. But I would just kind of need the orgasm. That's not what it's about. It's a bonus to sex. But
you want closeness, you want intimacy,
right?
And then on top there's the wanting to feel wanted and desired. That sounds like this is what Jay is going through too. Is that they're really lonely. They have so much yummy stuff to offer the world, and it's just being put in a little box under the bed, like their heart, their soul, their sensuality, their sexuality, and it wants to come out and to be loved and desired.
And
you deserve that.
And I love giving this advice to friends when they ask me after my breakups and different like dating, I made a list of what I desired in a partner. Not even basic things. And we've talked about this before. Like, I want him to like pizza.
Oh yeah.
And I wasn't even gendered with it. I was like my
pizza.
Partner, yeah. Yeah. But I want them to love that. So make a list of what you desire from your partner, and
or a future partner,
and be firm and very present on it, where I even slept with my list under my bed, and I was really just kind of manifesting that. And I know that sounds very whimsical.
Crystals.
But yeah, get my tarot out and do like a little reading. I do that sometimes.
She does.
Yeah.
She likes crystals.
Yes, I do. That one person that hates crystal talk and is tuned out.
You're funny because you like crystals and designer brand clothes.
Oh, yeah. I make my own rules.
You're like the Hollywood hippie.
I know. See? Yeah. I get witchy.
I like it.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that is advice that I give to my friends that are like dating and they're like, what do I do? Like, how do is there a person out there that can fulfill these things? I'm like, just make a list, get clear about what you want.
Call it in.
And call it in.
And it goes beyond that, not just like, I'm going to make a list and it's going to come to me. When we get clear on what we want, now we're open to it. It's not just like, oh, it's the laws of attraction and I'm going to magnetize it. If you don't know what it is that you're looking for, what you want, or what you desire, how are you even going to recognize it when it comes your way? Or how are you going to get it if you're not clear on what it is and asking for it? It's just not going to arrive.
And that I think that methodology of being clear about what you want, writing it down, being active, being present in it, changing it whenever you want is possible not only in relationships but also in work in all aspects. Releasing the shame, getting clear about who you are. I don't know. I just love that practice.
Yeah,
it's important.
Yeah. So you're in a really tricky spot, Jay, and it sounds like it's kind of that crossroads of having this important conversation. So if one person's shut down saying, I'm not willing to work, then all you can do is take care of you. Mm-hmm. All you can do is make decisions. Okay, well, you're not willing to work with me and I need this. So this is what I'm going to do to take care of my needs. And you can choose to follow or stay with me or not. And because you are worthy of that. There isn't any human that is not worthy of their needs.
And Jay, there's 7.6 billion people on the planet. If this particular partner and growing don't look at that ticking clock on the internet that shows you how long. Yeah, it's very crazy. But there's someone out there for you if your current partner isn't fulfilling all of your needs.
Yeah. And okay, let's comment on that one too, because I love is Esther Perel.
People in India probably a lot of times they typically like to have the arranged marriage.
Oh yeah, well,
it's true.
Yeah, but I
so maybe not India, which is 1.2 billion.
Well,
stick to North America if you're in North America.
But also, it's kind of so Esther Perel talks about this. Expecting your partner to fulfill all your needs is actually a new thing. This wasn't a thing back in the day.
You're right.
Yeah. So marriage was something that was created. It was a business engagement, right? It was like, okay, we're doing this thing because we need to work the land together, or my daughter's going to marry your son, and you're going to pay me X amount of goats, or whatever.
It's like property.
Yeah, and it's for survival, basically, to make things function and work. And so Esther Perel has talked about this a lot, and this is also from a lot of anthropological perspectives too.
Chris Ryan talks about it in Sex at Dawn, which I like changed my whole monogamy in general. I was questioning. I was like, wow, this is so mind-blowing.
We're not anti-monogamy and we're not anti-marriage, but I do love how she says that in modern day relationships there is this expectation for our partners to fulfill all of our needs, and that is so much pressure.
That's too much pressure.
That's impossible.
Right.
It's designed for failure.
The thing is, you can fulfill your needs and think about your happiness first, and then a lot of times other things start to fall into place.
Yeah, or your partner can fulfill some of your needs. Like they can, show up for you and touch you and snuggle you and have sex with you and have a deep emotional connection. But say you have a need for, I don't know, what's a good example of this? Eating pizza. Like April, see pizza.
I haven't eaten
partner
pizza in
like
6 months though.
But this is a need. And
I'm lactose intolerant.
And this is another, let's go deeper into that, because needs to me are more things that we actually need to live a happy life. So you probably don't need pizza to live a happy life.
No.
But it's a desire of yours.
Right.
So you don't have to get all of your desires from your partner. You can go have pizza with some friends and not put that on your partner. Hey, there's something wrong with our relationship. I really want pizza and you don't. And so I think we're broken. We need to go to a therapist now. You're my partner, so you're supposed to fulfill all my needs.
Perhaps maybe you could put on this podcast at night while your partner's sleeping and they'll subliminally hear some of the messages.
Yes. Buy me pizza.
Pizza.
Make me homemade pizza. Cornmeal crust.
Cauliflower crust.
Cheese,
then it's paleo.
Not mozzarella. I am lactose intolerant.
Oh yeah, there we go. There
you go. Yeah.
Well,
so just to put that into perspective too, no one can meet all of your needs except for you. And sometimes you can't too. But it's up to you to do that.
You meet a lot of my needs, Amy.
I do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Except you don't really,
we're not very sexual.
You don't
together.
do the vulva massage.
No, I don't do that. Yeah.
But you can pay people for that.
I've done it before, but I'm good. I'm painfully straight.
I know.
So painful.
Should we talk about quickies?
Yes.
Quickies.
Is there a quickie song you got for us?
I can make one up really quickly.
What you got?
Going quickly for the quickies.
Yeah.
Cha cha cha. You like that one?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay.
So if anyone wants to put that into a jingle and
I can do it again. Going quickly with the quickies. Cha cha cha.
Yeah.
Sex.
That's good.
By the way, we do need to authorize and have more jingles.
So we only got one.
I know we got one jingle. Thanks to that guy.
Send us a jingle.
Send us a jingle. You got a jingle? Also, we have some pretty exciting news. I think it's super exciting, right? We've never done this before.
I'm excited. We're doing a YouTube live video where we will answer your sex questions. And we have so many sex questions. So we'll be doing YouTube live where you can see our lovely faces and we won't just be voices humming in your earbuds or wherever you are as you do your daily drive.
And you can ask all of your questions anonymously. We won't say your name on the air. And if you have something, you're desiring to tune in to ask us about, that maybe you didn't get a chance to write an email, you can just tune in directly and talk to us. And we are going to be live on April 20th.
Yep, that's 4:20, all you stoners.
4:20 at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And it will have a chat box, so you can actually send us your direct questions live, and we can answer them there. We'll also come there fully equipped with some of the questions that you all have already sent us. So
you said box and come in one sentence.
Box and come in box in my box.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you come in my box, then then if you already wrote us some questions that we have not answered yet, this is a good opportunity to tune in and maybe we'll answer your questions there. And just so you all know, if you cannot chime in live, it will stay on our YouTube channel. So it's recorded and will stay there. You just can't ask us live questions.
Right. But you can always email us at shamelesssexpodcast@gmail.com or go to our website, shamelesssex.com, and ask us a question. Also, if perhaps you don't have a question, but you want to tune in, you may learn something that you didn't know. So it's always good to just check us out, what we're doing.
Always room to learn. So you all want to know how to do this?
How do you do it? How do you do it?
Go to YouTube and go look up Pure Pleasure Shop. Pure Pleasure Shop is a wonderful sex shop that I am co-owners of, and April got her start in the sex toy industry there. So if you go to Pure Pleasure Shop in the YouTube search box, it should pop up there, or you can go to our website at shamelesssex.com, and we'll have a link directly on our homepage so that you can click on that and go and ask your sex questions, or listen to sex questions, or see our lovely, very, I don't want to say interesting, exotic, fun, playful, wonderful.
I think it's all of the above.
Yeah.
I took a little from column A, B, and C.
Yeah.
So tune in, and that's 4:20, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, y'all. Can't wait to see you or hear you or be there.
So, okay, quickies.
So how do you feel about quickies, Amy?
Quickies. Well,
have you had a lot of them?
It's a conundrum. Yes. And these days, I can say that I do have some quickies these days.
What do you consider a quickie, PS? Because isn't it pretty subjective?
Quickies, like, we're not spending a lot of time on foreplay and warm up, and we only have a matter of minutes. You know, it's under 10 minutes of all the things.
Under 10 minutes.
Under 10 minutes of all the things, whether it's kissing, touching all over the body, that's not genitals, and when we touch or penetrate genitals, then it's all kind of under this thing. So mine will be, I'll say under 10 minutes. What about you? How would you define quickies?
I never really... in like a time warp every time I enter into a sexual experience with a partner.
Disappear into a vortex.
I would say a quickie. Yeah, no, like I'm never like that. You're always really good about being like, it's about 15 minutes of warm up. I'm like, how long is that? So I think I would. I know. Amy's got a timer.
All right, so we have 10.5 minutes.
I know that my velvet takes about 3 minutes to warm up. Yeah. So I would say my idea of a quickie would be 5 minutes, I guess.
Ooh.
8.7
includes all the things. You're talking about kissing, touching all over the body, not genitals. I'm
saying
all in there.
Penetration.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and I'd say probably with zero warm up when it's just going in, and usually there has to be lube involved because my pussy is not ready for entry.
Yes. Yeah. So we've talked about this past podcast, but fun fact. Vulvas take about 4 times as long to get arousal and blood flow than penises. So if you're in a heterosexual relationship and you're dealing with a penis and a vulva, just because the penis is hard does not mean the vulva is necessarily ready. And porn is showing... They're not really showing a lot of foreplay and warm up.
They're professionals.
Yeah.
So they're ready for things.
They're just diving right in.
They're diving in. There's a lot of lube. There's a lot of spit involved.
Not a lot of kissing.
No.
And they're just literally, hand on the clitoris, like just fast and hard, like they're going to burn it off with their fingers.
Same with anal. They just go straight in, and it's like God. No one sees the butt plug that they wore for 2.5 hours before.
The lube that they shot up their ass.
Right. So in that...
It's confusing for people.
It is confusing.
Yeah. So porn doesn't help in the issue of people being really confused about sex or quickies in general. And what's important, it doesn't really matter anything that we say here in terms of like time-wise. It's all up to you. What matters is your body ready? Is your body ready for whatever you're doing? And this doesn't just apply to penetration, right? Is your body ready for even a hand to touch the genitals? Or is it even ready for a kiss? And only you get to decide that. So for quickies, my rule of thumb would be have a quickie if your body's ready. If your body's not ready, do some other things to get your body ready, or just spend more time and don't have a quickie. Right. Because when you try to force it, and we talked about trauma in the beginning of this, but trauma doesn't just happen from non-consensual acts of sexual violence, right? Trauma happens from compliant sex, where so say you're really turned on, you want to have sex with me, I'm not fully ready, but we only have 5 minutes. So I'm like, all right, fine. Yeah, let's do this. And you jam your lovely dildo or cock inside of me and we have sex really quickly.
Take it.
And for me, it's not that great because I'm not that warmed up. My body, my cervix hasn't lifted up, which is what it does and makes more room in the vaginal canal when vulva owner is turned on. My body's just not juicy and ready. And we do this and I leave it kind of like, feeling maybe a little used. Like I was just an orifice to get you off. Or, oh, my body kind of hurts. Like it doesn't feel that great, but I still said yes. So it's not rape, right? I consented in that case, but I just had compliant sex, and that can create trauma in my body. Now my body, the next time you touch me, might clench a little bit. I might kind of like, oh, I don't know. I'm not, because last time it didn't feel that great. So we both of us agree with this. We don't suggest having that kind of sex. Kind of I'm not just pity sex, but just sex as something that we need to do to keep our partner happy, but our body's not really into it.
I used to do a lot of quickies
when you were married.
When I was married, and I had a lot of shame in what my body looked like. I wasn't able to work out because I was working so much. So quickies were our main method of sex. I mean, that's what we did, and I would never be on top because I didn't like my body, and I was always shaming myself. I would be in my head the whole time, like, when is this going to be over? Come on, finish. And that was when a quickie came in. Well, and I didn't realize, now that I'm out of my head and more into my body, more empowered, I'm like, no, wait, it's about both of us. Like, let's slow it down. Let's really enjoy this connective space that we're in. And it's helped so much. And nothing's really changed other than I've done work on myself. And I think that is some good advice if, you're kind of thinking about what laundry you haven't done and the kids are at school and you have to go pick them up.
What kind of oatmeal am I going to have
if it
for
becomes
breakfast?
A chore, yes, get out of your head, get into your body, feel your partner, ask questions about what you're doing. And I think that's helpful.
And stop and press pause when you need to. So say,
like, does this feel good?
Yeah, like quickies starting to feel right. Okay, we only have 10 minutes. Let's just try it. Yeah. And you start doing it, whatever you're doing, and it's not feeling good. Stop what you're doing, slow down, suggest something else, or add more lube or something, or sex toys. Sex toys are great for quickies.
Yep.
Because these are some things, so say I have 10 minutes. Okay, I only have 10 minutes. I want to play with you because I want to be connected to you. It's not just to cater to you. I really just want to be intimately connected to you. So let's play with my vibrator for a little bit. And maybe while I do that, you can massage your vulva or your cock or whatever else we're playing with. And then we can come together and now our bodies will be really warmed up. Sex toys just are like turbo mode into pleasure town.
I'm like 2 minutes with that thing.
Yeah.
I've timed it.
Yeah, really? With
that I've timed. Orgasm, yes, for my orgasm.
And then after you have the orgasm, are you interested in continuing the play?
Usually it's overly sensitive at the time.
Yeah.
Right. So especially when I'm using a vibrator. When I'm having penetrative sex and I have an orgasm, I usually can multiple.
So in that sense, what you could do is use the vibrator but not give yourself the orgasm.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'll be craving it. So you'll play with that for 1.5 minutes.
Are you talking about edging?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Where you don't give yourself the orgasm.
I don't like edging. I like instant gratification.
I know
and then
you do, but we're going to make you wait, April.
Oh, damn it.
So you have to wait, and then you'll take the vibrator away, and then you can go and play with your partner. Now you have another 8.5 minutes under your 10-minute belt to have whatever kind of sex you want to, right. and your body was ready. So that's a good way to work. I don't want to say manipulate. That's not really the right word, but to work with your body. And so what we're
coerce
really,
the body into coercion.
No,
use
like
all
that.
the weird adjectives to describe that.
I'm gonna go coerce my body so that I can be ready to have sex with you right now. And there's different systems here at play too. It's not just the physical body. When you're also working with the mind. Is my mind ready to show up and have sex? Meaning, is it ready to be present? Is it ready to be in a place of giving and receiving? And is it going to be fully showing up for this situation for
being
this
present? Mm-hmm. Yeah, being present. And okay. So can you talk about quickies that you've had, or
like my good old quickie stories? Yeah. Recently, I had a really great quickie, which was using the sex toy that you gave us. We finally figured out how to put the cock ring on.
Oh, the Atom cock ring.
Yeah,
you have to check out that. If you all haven't had access to cock rings before, this one is a must buy. It can be from beginner to intermediate to expert users of sex toys. Atom, ATOM, and the Atom Plus. But they are amazing. Go to hotoctopus.com. Hot Octopus has 2 S's, PS. And you get 20% off, 15% off, some percentage off. I can't recall because...
but the coupon code?
Yeah, shameless sex.
All caps?
I think it's all lowercase.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Yes. And we also have it at Pure Pleasure. You can get it at purepleasureshop.com. And it's we're getting it in actually. At Pure
No,
Pleasure.
you have it now.
Oh, we do have it now.
The package arrived. The package has been delivered.
It's like a teardrop cock ring. So it has 2 motors. One goes on the top, one goes on the bottom. And we talked about in one of our recent podcasts about how to put it on because they're a little more complicated when they're not super stretchy. It has a light stretch, but not a lot of stretch.
It gets more worked in and stretchier as time goes on, just because it gets more broken in like a shoe.
Yeah.
Like when you wear a shoe, it's kind of uncomfortable the first time.
Yeah.
It's not super uncomfortable. It just gets more worked in and better wear with wear. So that's an incentive to use it often.
Yeah. So what we did was we had that cock ring. We had never played with it. He wasn't super hard. He was like, he actually wasn't really hard at all. There's like a little blood flow there because it's to put these kind of cock rings on. You need
a semi.
Yeah, semi. I like it. I said that to him. I was
semi.
like, a semi in a
Do you
British
have a semi?
accent. Yes.
That's what my boss calls it.
A semi.
He's like, you gotta put it on with a semi.
Yeah. So he had a semi, and and we put it on. You do the testicles first, and then you put the shaft, and then I put it on. He was like, oh my god, because it's really powerful,
and it puts a lot of pressure on your perineum, which is that quote unquote taint, if you will, and it vibrates, and all the way around there's 2 motors. So check it out if you're looking for it to add a little spice to your situations. Whether you are a dildo user, it'll still kind of apply nice vibration to a dildo, or if you're in a partnership with a penis owner, then go for it. Check it out. Throw on that cack ring.
Yeah.
Cack.
And so because we don't usually use a lot of vibrating things for him.
Right. I know.
So he was like, this actually feels really good.
Yay.
We're experimenting. We're playing. So that's the fun thing about sex toys is it's just a fun way. It's like a bonus.
I helped design that toy because it has like a bump for clitorises.
I thought of you while we were
Thank you. I was hoping that you would say that.
So we put that on. He was vibrating. He was feeling really, really good. And then we started having sex for a little bit. And I was just like excited because it was really fun. Because I was like, there's a new thing that we're playing.
Yeah,
with.
totally.
And so we actually did have sex. But what happened is, so he came, and so then when he was done, I was like, well, how about we play with my vibrator now? And he was totally down. So then we whipped up my vibrator, and then we played for a little bit. And I was doing this thing where I'm yelling when I have orgasms now, which is great because I have my own little house. So I'm like, I'm not just being loud to everyone.
Give me an example of how you yell.
We have microphones.
I know, but just like
loud.
was it like a
No, yelling.
Like
as loud as you possibly
Do you say
can.
words or just screaming?
No, just like
someone probably thinks you're getting hurt.
Well, who's going to get hurt? The eardrums?
No, that you're getting hurt, and they're like,
I hope not. But I didn't think
you're gonna
about
get your
that.
neighbors coming.
But it makes my orgasms more powerful. The louder I am, the more powerful my orgasms are. So
it's true.
Anyways, all of this happened under 10 minutes. And we both had orgasms, and it was fun and exciting. The Adam was fun. We probably are just going to move to the next sex toy because we're more into that. We're more into trying the new toy.
Okay.
And because that's exciting, and once we try that, we'll probably move to the next one. And it's just new and exciting.
We're making an anal toy soon.
Sweet.
That's gonna vibrate.
Totally.
So let's stick that in your partner's butt.
Yeah.
Let's see if he's into it.
Yes, with permission, of course.
With permission.
And then my other exciting quickie story would be kind of goes in the same category of like wild places you've had sex. Is I had sex with the pilot while they were flying a 2-seater plane once while they were flying.
See, I can't one up on that situation. That's pretty much the coolest thing ever.
It's a good one.
While the plane,
over the Monterey
in the cockpit.
Bay. Yeah, there's
fully
only in the cockpit.
Weren't you? No pun intended.
Yeah, and it was quick, right? Because it was like, oh my god! But I had to hold the roof of it, and it was wild because when you're flying a plane, you're controlling the plane with both your feet and your hands. So he's just still trying to do those things while I'm just So it was So that, and it was a quickie, but it was so exciting. Good. So I think. For me, a lot of quickies happen when there's this level of excitement that can raise the arousal automatically on its own that might not even be related to sex. It's just, this is like, that's why people like having sex out in public.
Well, a friend told me, because we were kind of talking about quickies, that her and her ex-partner used to do it in public. And I was like, can you define like where in public, like in bathrooms? And she's like, yes, bathrooms. But one time we were at a bar sitting there and I had a skirt on and we were at the corner of the bar and I was sitting in his lap and he fully just penetrated me and we had a quickie at the bar. I was like, that is dope.
Stool.
On a bar stool. Like I can't top that either. Mine is like, I pulled over the side of the road and just banged it out in the car. And then out in nature a couple times.
Nature's great. Nature's awesome.
Nature's
awesome because you're just
gotta look out for poison oak.
Yeah, don't have a quickie next to the poison oak
If we have a
if you live in
blanket
California.
in the
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, watch out for that.
Throw down that blanket.
Yeah, but I think so. What that person's talking about with the bar stool is the exhibitionism thing. You know, some people get aroused or off, and some people don't. They don't. That doesn't turn them on to. They're a little more afraid. But it's that we might get caught, and so that can lead to a great quickie because it creates its own level of excitement. So. I think that's an important thing to bring in is we can have great quickies when we bring in sex toys or other things that excite us and get the juices flowing us because it's so different or new or taboo.
As I use my toy if I know that I want to come quickly.
Yeah,
that's when I'll bust out my
when you're like,
toy.
I'm gonna bust one out.
Yeah, I'm like, I have a meeting at 8:30, so can we just please, do you mind if I just use the toy?
And then April also believes in an orgasm a day keeps the doctor away.
Yes, that's what people are like. What's your secret?
She's like,
I'm like, not Botox, dude. It's called an orgasm a day.
Yeah,
I really do believe in that. It gives you a solid glow.
Yeah,
I didn't have an orgasm yet today. Damn it.
All right, we got to cut. We'll be right back. She's got to go bring her orgasm game. Well, and then it also, for me, when I have a lot of vibrant sexual energy moving through my body, I just feel more alive. And then I'm better in all realms, whether it's in the work, in the workplace or wherever. I'm just more alive. I have more creative juices flowing in my body. So it's wonderful magic to orgasm.
Sometimes I want a quickie, but I drank too much wine. And then I'm like, why is this not working? It's like, brrr. I'm like totally numbed out. And then I'm like, I just don't know why I did that.
Half a bottle of wine plus are not really quickie friends.
Yeah.
They
So
don't really work
if
well
you
for
want a quickie,
vulvas or penises.
Don't drink as much wine as I do.
Yeah, but I think that they can they serve a time and a place. But I think for most people, that's not how they want all of their sex to be. And I want to comment on one thing as we talk about this, because the folks who ejaculation is an issue for them, where they think that they don't last long enough, or they call it premature ejaculation. And for us, we don't necessarily think that there's such thing as
premature, right?
It's all a matter of perspective,
right?
So as we say that we don't love quickies, we're not saying we don't love you if you're someone that has an orgasm really quickly. We're saying that what we actually don't love is when people have sex when the body's not ready for it and it doesn't feel good in that way. It's not in any way shaming that someone who can only last 5 minutes, we're not shaming those people at all. And like, I've had some great sex in only a matter of minutes. Right. And for me, a lot of times the sex is more about the connection, and it's not about the penetration part. It's more about all the other yummy stuff.
The warming up, the foreplay. Foreplay is key.
Yeah.
I asked my partner the other day, I was like, hey, can we spend more time making out?
What did he say?
He's like, I'm like, can we pretend we're in high school again? And
do you really want to pretend you're in high school?
No, but I just like gave him I'm like, remember when you used to hang, like literally crave making out, and I get super turned on from kissing.
I love kissing.
It's like so hot, and I'm like, just kiss me, because I feel like and that happens in almost every one of my relationships. The longer it is, it goes away, and I'm like, no, I need this. So I was asking him, and he totally gave me what I needed.
It's people start to get comfortable once they now he's figured out your body, so he's like, oh, I'm gonna get from point A to point B, and all the other stuff isn't really on the table anymore. And I think this is completely normal. We start to take those things for granted. Most people do when they get in long-term relationships.
The little things.
And then someone or both people start to crave them. Like, hey, we don't just dry hump anymore. We don't just make out and kiss anymore. We don't start to touch each other without penetrative sex being on the table or without touching genitals. Once we kiss, genitals are always a part of it.
That's why, yeah.
And I miss those things that we used to do. Can we do more of those?
And Esther Perel talks about this in Mating in Captivity. And she's so brilliant. By the way,
she's amazing. I want to meet her. Like, I would rather meet her over any celebrity.
I'm serious. She's amazing, and she talks about once you're married, how a lot of these things you think you basically own your partner, and she comes at it from a lot of domestically hetero couples. I mean, she has all sorts of different experiences in therapy with all sorts of different sexual orientations, but a lot of her examples from the book are about hetero marriages that are long term. But she talks about how a lot of times one of the partners thinks that I got them, and she's like, "What makes you think that you have them?
Yeah, you don't have them. They're not yours.
You need to nurture that. Yeah. They're not yours to have." So it's all about that aspect of not the keeping it new, but kind of not taking them for granted.
Yeah, continuing to do the work to keep things connected.
Right.
Maybe not or exciting or spicy if that's your jam or for what you're looking for, but more so connected.
Showing up with the language of love that they have. We talk about this on one of our episodes. I think the last episode that we did, the 5 languages of love, and kind of identifying what yours is and what your partner's is, or having them identify it for you, and then showing up in that way continuously.
And on that note, with Quickies, we can dedicate our whole, like, Quickies can just be the part where we actually start touching, but so maybe that's like a 5 or 10 minute window, but you can spend your whole busy day still reaching out to your partner in a way that lets them know that you love them, or you think they're sexy, or you can't wait to have sex
Some
with
pussy
them.
shots?
Yeah, you know, so maybe the Quickies, because you only have 10 minutes when you're actually physically together, but you're at work all day, send them some messages. It's like, I just can't wait to have your cock in my mouth, or whatever that is, you know, and that's all part of the foreplay. So that can help to create heightened arousal without it having to be in person if you don't have time. Because for a lot of people, you know, we get emails from folks that are married, they have kids, and time is actually really hard for them, you know, and so we recommend to schedule time to
It's
have
important
sex.
to schedule the time, because
And people are busy.
people are busy, and you can always think of an excuse or a reason not to have sex. But I mean, if I feel like a few days have gone by where I'm like, hey, I really desire this, I'm like, can we have a sexy time night tomorrow? And it usually works every time. I'm just like, even if I sometimes I put on lingerie, sometimes I just wear some like stripper heels.
Oh my God, she does a great stripper.
I have really good stripper heels. They're really only my sex heels.
They are.
I don't wear them outside
She
of
does
the
like
house.
the whole thing where she spreads on her back and spreads it, and there's the clack when you hit
Yeah.
them, like clack.
I've showed you before.
It's good. I've seen multiple
The
times.
bands will make her
Yeah,
dance.
I throw dollars at her. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, and then once I had a
You
$10
did
bill
throw
and I
dollars.
hit it and didn't give it to her, and she found it, and she's like, "Hey, where's my $10 bill?"
I like to pretend I'm a stripper.
And you are a great one. Mine.
Yeah, no, because I've been to a lot of strip clubs.
Yes.
I respect. I go to strip clubs and they're like, were you a dancer once? I was like, no, but maybe in a past life I was, because I really relate to this and I love this shit. Like, who doesn't like drinking and watching hot ladies
Sober
dance?
people.
Well, even if I'm sober, I still enjoy
People who
it.
don't like women.
Remember when we went to that stripper party in LA and there was that woman that came out in a baboon costume?
I was not there, but I wish I was.
Dude.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you were there.
This is probably one of those nights when I was being lame and just like, I'm gonna go to my room.
It was
I do that a lot.
you were
So wait,
there.
what did she do in the baboon costume?
She had a full baboon costume, and she did it had the butt, like the butt over the butt, like the
my
bare
God.
butt, and then hair all over. And then she had a mask, and she came out and she did like this baboon dance. Dude, you were there.
No, I was not
Oh
there.
my
So I
God.
would remember a baboon dance.
It was the Fun Factory party.
I came late
It
or
was
something. I
the
did not
share your. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna go back in the roster and see if you were there.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go out more when we go to trade shows because
Yeah.
there's baboons running
Maybe
around.
that's why you were having a night in early. You had a midnight curfew, and I'm usually like, wow.
Yeah, she stays out till 4. So okay, back to tangent,
baboon
back
costume?
to the
Oh, no.
heels. You're talking about heels.
Oh yeah.
And you like to whip out the heels and do a little dance.
And sorry to refer to Esther Perel again.
Oh,
but
don't apologize. She's amazing.
She is amazing, but she talks about the flannel pajama scenario. Do you remember that from the book?
Sweatpants.
Where you end up in sweatpants all the time. It's also about feeling sexy for yourself. And I feel sexy in
and that's
stripper
actually
heels.
more important.
It is. And I'll put on, like, actually what I have on right now, it's a one piece with a thong back. I'll put on this with the heels.
Show us.
Yeah. Well, no, don't think so.
Okay.
For you later.
Okay.
But and I'll put on that, and it's like it's something I own. It's not even lingerie, but I feel really sexy in this, and that is part of me opening up my sexuality. So maybe I don't know many people that would feel comfortable in flannel pajamas or sexy in flannel pajamas. They're designed for comfort.
What about like flannel lingerie?
I put on my hunter boots with nothing else on,
That's good.
and that works well.
My dad's a hunter. He'd be really into that.
So I don't know what makes you feel sexy. You might like your yoga pants with a hole cut out in it.
No, I'm trying to be more
kidding.
feminine these days.
Oh, yes, I know you
Less
are.
yoga pants.
I like
well,
that.
and I think I like what you're saying too, because again, that is part of the arousal piece. Is it starts with you. So say you're going to have sex. Maybe it's a quickie, maybe it's not, but in order to feel sexy, it comes down to so many things. Is to yourself, what you're wearing, how you're showing up, what you eat before, how you breathe before. All those
don't eat
things.
a lot of Indian food before, because especially before anal.
Good advice.
No, for real though.
Did you find out the hard way?
No, I googled it.
What? What did you find?
It's just not a good idea.
It's not a good idea to Google things like that.
I know.
Is what's really not.
I've
a good
learned the
idea.
hard way many times, but that's all about the journey.
Yeah, it is all about the journey. And we'll leave it with that note for Quickies about the journey piece too, because that's another reason why we're usually into slow and more connected sex. And again, when we say slow and soft, that's in the beginning. Like fast and hard serves a purpose when bodies are super turned on and aroused and ready to go.
Yeah.
But when they're not there, that I don't think it should be on the table because they're not ready for it.
And you could be, literally into, say like domination, submission. What is it
BDSM?
called? Thank you.
Yeah.
And start slow and soft and then go into your hardcore tie me up kind of scenario.
Is like the one that really needs the starting slow and soft in the warm up. You don't just take a flogger and just like smack someone hard or like start choking them out of nowhere without a
peeing all over them.
conversation and they're warming the body up and all this negotiation and safe words, all these things. So and that's a whole nother podcast for another day. We did a kink podcast, but we also want to do, that was just us talking.
Right.
We want to bring on someone that's like really deep in the kink world.
And we will for sure.
But like BDSM quickies, I'm sure that they're available and they need so much foreplay, warm up, safety, negotiation that it might almost be dangerous for most people. If you only have a 10-minute window, it's probably not time to get into your ultimate kink realm unless you've already done a lot of work with this person and negotiation, all that stuff. So that especially needs a lot of love and care. So we're not we're not anti all that other stuff, the hard, the fast, all that. And it's just a matter of really respecting the body, listening to the body, because every time we do, it tells our body that we are worthy, that our bodies are safe, that we are going to get touched the way we want to be touched. Versus if we don't do that and we have that compliant sex or sexual experiences, we're telling ourselves that this is what sex is like, this is what we deserve, and that's all that sex will be. And of course, we're going to react in a way according to that where our body numbs out and shuts down. So quickies, go for it. Just listen to your body and give to it the way that it desires and don't override that.
And please get out of your head.
And always use lube.
Get in,
especially Uber Lube. Uber Lube is
the jam.
Uber Lube, we have at Pure Pleasure. You can go to purepleasureshop.com and you get 15% off with coupon code Shameless Sex. PP in all caps, and you're out. We need to get you a bottle.
Can I have some more?
I'll get you a bottle.
It's a really cute bottle. I can keep it on my nightstand.
It's beautiful.
And
it's glass.
It almost looks like lotion.
Yeah.
Or a cosmetic product.
Yeah.
And I'm like very OCD about having things out. So if you're a person that is like myself, you won't mind having it exposed. People don't know what it is. It just looks really cute.
Amazing. It's our top selling lubricant at Pure Pleasure. Pure Pleasure, if you haven't heard on past podcasts, is a mother-daughter owned sex shop in Santa Cruz, and I'm the daughter. Woo! I'm pretty much behind the scenes these days, so my wonderful mother is running the show, but it's a beautiful store if you live in Santa Cruz, or you can go to our website, purepleasureshop.com. It's also a beautiful online store. And everyone, April got her start in the sex toy industry at Pure Pleasure.
Amy hired me.
Yes.
And I didn't even own a vibrator.
And now you own a lot.
And you're like, I think you're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
Put this on your clitoris and then I'll hire you. Wait, that doesn't sound right.
And I was like, how did I wait until I was 25 years old?
You could have sued me for that probably.
Is it really?
Sexual harassment. If you offer your employee a vibrator.
Yeah, but I wasn't working for you then. You gave it to me before the shop opened.
I will not hire you until you use this.
Yes. And I was like, damn. And then you made me watch porn. No, I'm just kidding. I did that consensually.
Oh, sign this release form right here. Yes, thank you. This has been fun.
This has been an awesome episode.
This has been really good.
Thank you.
Great.
Miss Baldwin, for sharing your fun day with me.
Thank you, Miss Lampert, for sharing.
Can we do
your
a quick
Sunday
cheers?
Oh, yes.
Cheers.
Mazel tov.
Chenin Blanc.
This is Chenin Blanc?
Yeah, this is Chenin Blanc.
Wait, you didn't look me in the eyes.
Look at me in the eyes.
We had to take a moment from the mics because we had to take a
that's
sip
good
of it.
luck.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's all about the five senses. Do you know why that's? Do you look why you look in the eyes?
Is this when I whip out my crystals?
No. This is factual information. Yeah. Like in most other countries, when they salut or cheers to life, l'chaim, it's about the five senses: the touch, the taste, the look, the smell.
Mm-hmm.
So
you actually have helped me be really present with that, because a lot of times I'll just take the wine and be like,
yeah, you just have to enjoy. It's about the enjoyment of the cocktail or the wine.
Saludals.
So, all right, y'all. this has been an awesome podcast sharing about quickies and all the things. Shame-free, shamelessness, shameless sex. So
as little shame as possible.
As little shame as possible. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in every Tuesday. We love, love, love you. If you feel so inclined and you have a free time, I'm going to rhyme.
She loves accents.
I do. I think we read every single, if you have like an accent preferred, we read every single review, sometimes on the air, but go to iTunes.com, write us a review. 5 stars. We love you.
And if you say your preferred accent, April will read your review.
I'll do my best.
You nailed the Irish one.
The Irish one was great, but the German one, I usually am so good at German. Yeah.
There you go.
But I wasn't that day.
No, it wasn't your day
pressure.
for Germany.
But we do. So please write us a review. And again, if you have any sex questions you need answered, shamelesssexpodcast@gmail.com or visit us on our website, shamelesssex.com. We love you. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Ciao for now.
Don't forget to head on over to our website at shamelesssex.com for more. And for 15% off of some of our favorite sex toys, use coupon code SHAMELESSPP in all caps at purepleasureshop.com.